experience a much better delivery. And of course, as I said earlier, we're moving now to the local government elections. The Constitution calls upon us to hold local government elections every 5 years. Now, ministers often write me love letters. And Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs wrote me a love letter about local government elections. And the minister said, Mr. President, we now are having to address the issue of the local government elections and the date when those local government elections will be held. As set out in Section 159 of the Constitution, we now need to determine when the next local government elections will be held. And he writes that the last municipal councils were elected on the 1st of November 2021, and their tenure expires on the 1st of November 2026. And consequently, the elections for the next term of local government must be held between the 2nd of November 2026 and the 30th of January 2027. And he then cites a piece of legislation, or a case rather, that was taken to the Constitutional Court that determined that we must adhere to what the Constitution says. And the minister says, in terms of Section 24(2) of the Municipal Structures Act, the Minister of Cooperative Governance, after consultation with the IEC and by notice in the Government Gazette, can call and set a date for the election of all municipal councils in the country, and that the notice may be published either before or after the expiry of the term. Now, he continues that in fulfillment of this, I consulted with the Electoral Commission, and following consideration of the available options and then an assessment of the advantages and disadvantages associated with each, it was agreed that the elections should be held on X date, which the President You don't want me to finish. I know you are interested in when. And I knew that that would electrify you. And that will give you a sense of vuma. And he says, the proposed days offers the following advantages. It falls on a Wednesday. Now you have an idea. And it falls outside the festive period, which we are going to be galloping to, which is likely to support improved voter turnout. Very clever, Minister. With all necessary prior planning, it will have minimal impact on school and higher education exam periods. It does not fall within a peak travel or migration period between provinces and municipalities. South Africans like to travel a lot. It allows sufficient time for post-election establishment processes, including the establishment of councils and ward committees, the conclusion of coalition agreements, which you are going to have in hung councils, and the election of municipal office bearers, the appointment of local representatives to district councils, and the contracting, preparation, and printing of electoral materials. It accommodates other statutory administrative establishment processes following the elections. Now, he goes on to say, this was presented to Cabinet, correctly so, as early as last year, and Pursuant to this resolution, he also engaged ministers of basic education, the ministers of higher education, and all structures. Against this background, he says, I kindly request the President to announce the date of the elections, as is the tradition. And having received such a clear and wonderful love letter from Minister Tlhabisa, I now proceed to proclaim the date of elections, which will in the end be gazetted by the Minister in accordance with Section 24(2) of the Structures Act, and the proclamation. I need to finish. Now, after which the Electoral Commission will publish the election timetable, indicating the key preparatory activities for the local government elections. And having outlined all that, he therefore, Minister says, Mr. President, please go ahead in the presence of our mayors, our municipal managers, our ministers, our everybody who is part of government, and also in the presence of the media, to announce that the elections will be held on a date that you will and I therefore have pleasure in giving Minister Tlhabisa a positive answer to this request that he has made, which he knows the President must announce. And he has said, Mr. President, announce it at this historic meeting when all these people will have come together, representing about 71% or so of our municipal mayors and municipal managers. So therefore, in the presence of all these important people who play a key role in the governance, I therefore determine that the elections, the next local government elections, which were last held which were last held in November of 2021, that 2026 being the year in which the local government elections must be held, they should now be held on a Wednesday, which is in the middle of the week, on a date which I now determine as the 4th of November, 2026.